Welcome to the Walk-Ons. I'm Drew McDonald here with John Watson, Zach Yearwood, and special guest from Miami University, which I found out just today, Mr. Kenny Schierlinger. How are you doing today, Kenny?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Good to speak with you guys, and hope you guys are doing well through COVID-19 craziness right now in the world.
So Kenny is part of the ASUN family. He's from Stetson University, working there, the voice of the Hatters, the inferior Florida team, the ASUN. But we're here with him today. And so, all right, Kenny, so what was your journey like from Miami University to where you are right now?
So I kind of got into the broadcasting scene a little bit late. I kind of went through, I thought I wanted to get into football and the front office aspect of that. So I was a student manager at Miami University with the football team. And I ended up deciding that I wanted to get into the entertainment part of sports, and specifically football and basketball and all the sports I love, rather than the behind the scenes and coaching and in the front office and all that kind of stuff. So my junior year, I kind of got involved with the student radio station up there, Red Hawk Radio, and got to fortunately call a bunch of games: football, basketball, baseball, softball, whatever really I wanted to do and kind of cut my teeth in. They were willing to give us a spot and go right at it with the student radio. So that's kind of how I got into broadcasting. Ultimately, that led me to Stetson this past year.
So you're from the Daytona area, right, Kenny?
Yeah, I grew up in Ponce Inlet, which is right down the street from Daytona Beach. Went to high school in Daytona Beach, Seabreeze High School, and so basically from Daytona. Didn't grow up in Daytona, but it's all the same thing. And just a whole bunch of beach bums over here, and that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at now, and commute to Stetson when things are going on over there. Haven't been doing much commuting, but obviously sports has been furloughed for the time being.
So what got you up to Miami? My bad, Drew.
So I transferred there. Long story short, I kind of bounced around. I started at Michigan State my freshman year and liked it there a lot, and I got into football as a student manager there. And then I realized I wanted to get into sports management, and so I came back to the state of Florida. I went to Florida State and was a student manager there for a year, my sophomore year. And then I realized I wanted to get a degree and a background in both sports management and sports broadcasting. So I looked around everywhere, and Miami has a great program, a dual degree program up there. And fortunately, I couldn't do the dual degree because it would have added a year and a half to my time in school. So I got a sports management degree, and then I got a concentration emphasis, is what I like to call it, in broadcast journalism up there. So it's a very good program up there, and I looked all around. I looked at another school in Ohio, Bowling Green, but Miami is a little bit more of a better place than Bowling Green, just to say the least. So I ended up at Miami, and that's kind of how I ended up being a Red Hawk in my last 2 years, and don't regret my journey really at all. I think everything happened for a reason, and kind of worked my way through and got to make a lot of good connections in Michigan and back here in Florida and Ohio, and a couple different places I've worked too, kind of internships and all that type of stuff. So that's how I kind of ended up in Miami, just researching, and ended up there just because it was a good fit.
What are the pros and cons of working from home, Kenny, for Daytona at least?
Like during COVID, you mean?
No, I mean like coming back to like home to work, and Rodriguez and Stetson.
I think it's a lot of pros. I think I lost a lot of time with. I have two younger brothers, and I have a pretty tight knit family down here. So I lost a lot of that time in the 4 years in college that I was away. So I've gotten a lot of that time back in this past year. So that's definitely a big pro. Being in the area, with being familiar with the teams, obviously growing up with Stetson right down the street, and then obviously with the Tortugas, formerly the Daytona Cubs. It was kind of surreal to do that and be able to broadcast for them, and also for the Beijing Shogang Eagles, who were the Chinese national team over the summer that were playing in Daytona. So it was a really good experience, and I can't think of many cons at all. I mean, I like the Midwest. I like being up there during the seasons. It's a little hot down here. I think that you can get a little bit tired of that. Maybe that's a little bit of a con, but definitely a lot more pros than cons. And like I said, not many cons. I mean, maybe the weather a little bit, but you can't beat the weather right now in Florida. I mean, this is the way. I was out surfing today, so you can't do that up in Ohio, and you can't do that in Michigan. So that's a pro.
So how was the job search right after getting out of college for you? Was it pretty, more favorable to get a job in Florida, or what was it like for you?
I was looking everywhere. I applied every place, and just fortunately took the job with the Tortugas and the Eagles down here. Really just thinking it was going to be just kind of a summer bridge, the gap type of job, obviously with it being seasonal. And I was looking to be anywhere. And it just happened that Stetson needed somebody to host their coaches show, and kind of later, just a couple of weeks later, they decided to bring radio back. So that's how I kind of got my foot in the door there and got to be the voice of the Hatters in football, basketball, men's and women's, and some baseball and softball as well. So the plan wasn't really to come back home. I was ready to go anywhere. I would have went to the West Coast, I would have went to Northeast, stayed in the Midwest. Did an internship in St. Louis. I applied a lot of places there. So that was two summers ago. So I wasn't really tied down to anywhere. And the job search was stressful, but everything just kind of works out kind of when you least expect it. So I was kind of sweating it out just a couple of weeks before graduation. Didn't really have anything set in stone, and that just kind of kept the ball rolling into the Tortugas and the Eagles, and then into Stetson that started up last fall.
You mentioned Stetson, and the basketball team's actually on the rise right now. The guys like Rob Perry, Mo Jawara. I think the team's going to improve, do you think, in the coming years, do you think?
I mean, I think the sky's the limit there. I mean, I think the biggest difference was head coach Donnie Jones. He's been everywhere. He's been in the NBA. He's been in the college ranks. He was assistant all those years under Billy Donovan at University of Florida when they were going to championships every year. So I think the ceiling is really high, and it was kind of a really good mix of youth. And then they had some experience with Christian Jones and Joel Raleigh that really kind of sparked that and kept them from going through some down times. I mean, they had some down spurts when they were dropping a couple of games, but those veterans guys, I mean, a lot of the other teams in the country and the ASUN probably wouldn't consider them veterans because they weren't the most they weren't very old guys, but they were the oldest ones that we had at Stetson. So they kind of kept that going, and then the fantastic play and all the freshmen with Rob Perry and Mohamedou Jawara, Wade Panzo, and all those guys. I mean, they just kind of put it all together this year, and it was nice to have a surprise. It was a nice surprise to have in the spring and later in March.
What have you been binge watching in your time in quarantine?
I've been watching a little bit of everything. I'm not a huge TV guy, but I definitely watched Tiger King. That was something that I had to watch. I watch a lot of Parks and Rec. I've always loved Parks and Rec, but I've never watched the seasons and episodes back to back to back in the way you're really supposed to be watching a show, because it's just such a show that's that office type theme that doesn't matter what episode it is. It's always going to be entertaining. So a lot of Parks and Rec, lots of things that people talk about. I've watched, or what else have I watched? I actually haven't got into the MJ documentary yet because I missed the first 2 episodes. So I kind of catch up on that, and I plan to do that before this coming Sunday. But I mean, really anything. Big Parks and Rec, big Always Sunny in Philadelphia kind of guy, and just anything that's funny. I try to keep it loose and try to stay away from the news 24/7 because you can be kind of a bummer around this time of what's going on in the world.
You mentioned Parks and Recreation, Kenny. I actually got a shirt right now of it's Mouse Rat, iconic band from Indiana.
Yeah, Mouse Rat is definitely every once in a while you gotta pull up the Pit song on YouTube. What's his real Chris Pratt? I mean, he's a really talented actor and he's hilarious. I mean, it's such a great show. I don't know anybody who doesn't like it. Season 1's a little bit kind of a transition. They kind of reinvented themselves after season 1, but once you start getting to seasons 3, 4, 5, it's really good stuff, really funny.
The Will Sebastian ballad it's a tearjerker every single time I watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So Kenny, we actually went to Stetson to see you and I play them. We stopped at a place you mentioned, Porky's. Holy crap, man! Their barbecue was phenomenal. Like $4 sandwiches, good sides. Like, what's also some other notable places in Stetson to get some food?
I think probably what I mentioned to you was the Greek place, Santorini. That place is really good as well. It's a really small kind of mom and pop place that I've been to once or twice. Porky's, there's another place that has really good deli sandwiches that I am blanking on the name right now. I think it's like an Italian name. It's a really good place, but to be honest, I besides those other places, I mean, there's another place called now I'm blanking all the names now. I wish I had more places, but those are the real places that you really need to go to. I mean, Porky's is the place you need to hit if you really want to have like a taste of the land, and then Santorini, and then a couple good breweries if you're of age there down Persimmon Hollow, and another breakfast place that is, which I'm also blanking now on. I think it's the Potato Patch, it's Potato Patch, I think. So
awesome.
It's been pretty good, dude. Pretty good food in DeLand. It's kind of a southern type of food scene. The Half Wall's a really good place too. That's kind of a chain in our area, the Daytona Beach area. The Half Wall's got good drinks and good craft beers and really good burgers and things like that too as well.
We have a debate, Kenny, here. It's kind of an age-old debate. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
See, I ask people that every once in a while just to be goofy. If you look at it technically, I think it is a sandwich. I think some people think if it's connected, it's not a sandwich, but you also can eat a hoagie sandwich that is connected. So that's kind of how I look at it. I personally, just kind of looking, just thinking a hot dog being a sandwich, it's kind of ridiculous, but really when you look at it, it kind of is a sandwich.
Is it closer to a sandwich or a taco?
I think it's closer to a sandwich.
It's got to be a taco.
Taco, bro. Taco.
You got to look at it the biggest. What I get caught up on is it's a tortilla. I mean, a tortilla and bread is a little bit different. So that's kind of where I get caught up on. I can hear what you're saying. That's a fair
argument, but they both can be made of wheat though.
They could both be made of wheat. I mean, rice could be made of wheat too as well. So I mean it's a good counterpoint. You can play devil's advocate with really any of those type of debates. There's always all those kind of quirky food debates that you can have that I think are pretty funny, and people get riled up too much about it.
Oh, me and Drew have gone to war over hot dog not being a sandwich.
Yeah.
That and Cam Newton. I think Cam is the poor man's Josh Allen, and Zach disagrees with me.
My goodness, we're not gonna go there.
I mean, he's got to get to a Super Bowl, and then he can maybe make. I mean, you never know. I mean, the way it could play out. I mean, Cam's got a couple more years on, or more than a couple of years. He's got some years on Josh Allen, so you might be able to have that debate maybe 5 years. But right now, I don't think that you could say that. I think I'm on Zach's side there.
See you in the future.
Yeah.
You got any questions, guys?
Top 3 quarantine snacks?
Top 3 quarantine snacks.
He's going to say kale chips again.
You better not say kale chips, buddy.
Somebody said kale chips?
Yeah.
You've got that answer before? No. I mean, kale chips aren't as bad as they sound. I've had them every once in a while, but that's definitely not a top 3 or even a top 10 right now.
No, sir.
Right now, I'm trying to think what I've kind of been snacking on. I think cereal has kind of been maybe one of my top 3, probably my number 1 right now. I mean, I had a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch earlier today, so that's always a good one. It could double as just a complete meal. I've been eating a lot of tuna fish. I think that's kind of maybe a snack a little bit.
Hold up, Kenny. Give the rest of your list in your radio voice.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that right now. Talking about snacks.
Give us some analysis on food.
Analysis on food. All right, here we go. So I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch can really be an elite snack that you can have anytime during the day. I mean, it's there whenever you need it. It's kind of like that apple pie or your mom that's always going to be there when you need it. If you fall down and get up, you need a snack, you got to get up with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I mean, I don't know if that's a radio voice, but it's kind of maybe getting into Cinnamon Toast Crunch and how versatile it could be. But yeah, I got to give you a third one though. I mean, goldfish is probably my third snack that has been going on a lot during the quarantine.
Snack that smiles back.
Yeah. It's always good with some lemonade or Sprite. Just kind of throw back to when you're little or something.
I think that cereal is probably the taste and feel of snacks, I think. It could be different ways you can use it, you know. Have it with milk, by itself, with just like the dry cereal.
Mm-hmm.
That's really about it, actually. It's kind of all I have for its uses.
Yeah. I got a question for you guys. Are you guys all from the state of Florida? You guys all grew up in Florida?
Yep.
No.
Exactly.
No?
I grew up.
Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Barbados till I was 10 years old. Then I moved to Canada when I was for a year and a half, and then I came here.
So you a big hockey guy or no?
Not at all. The only thing I know about hockey is that Wayne Gretzky was an Oiler, and the Oilers are the best in the NHL. I was forced to be an Oilers fan because I lived in Edmonton.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Edmonton Oilers, yeah. You should. Yeah, I think hockey is I think hockey is the best sport to watch live.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've been to a game. I just didn't know what the heck was going on. I just know you have to get the puck in the net.
Yeah.
You a Panthers or Bolts fan?
So I'm a little weird. So I grew, my whole dad's side of the family's from Michigan. So I grew up a Detroit everything fan, and so I'm a big Wings fan.
That's
not a big
tough.
fan of the Lightning.
I gotta say, being a Red Wings fan right now, that's
being
gotta be
a
tough.
Detroit fan, period.
Yeah.
The Lions, the Pistons, they're all. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I mean, when I was growing up, we had the Pistons and the Wings obviously winning a lot, and it seemed like we were always in the hunt for a championship. The Lions have always been. It's generations and generations. My dad, my grandfather, great grandfather. It's been generations of losing, so that's been tough. But the Tigers have been up and down. But right now, it's pretty rough to be a Detroit sports fan. A lot of people have that same reaction like Zach had when I tell them that, especially nowadays these days. But it's all up and down. You're gonna have your peaks and your plateaus, and you have your downfalls and skydives right now, which is kind of what the deal is. But it's kind of been nice to not have any losing going on right now, even though I miss sports a lot. But you can't lose if you're not playing. So that's kind of what the motto is right now up there.
For in hockey, my team is the Atlanta Thrashers. Just saying.
Yeah, so we're up to Winnipeg now, so
can't relate.
Not my team anymore.
Gotta go with the Lightning here, you know. Always gotta go with the Bolts. Where am I from?
Yep.
I'm from Vegas. I'll just say that because I'm military. But
okay,
moved here sophomore year of high school, and I'm in Tampa right now, so we're chilling.
Okay. Yeah, Tampa's turned itself into a really nice hockey town. So I mean, it's been I've been to a playoff game over there when the Red Wings game won in probably 2015, I believe. So that was the first time that I actually been to Tampa. It was a great atmosphere, and I've been there for NCAA tournament game before that. So I love Tampa a lot. I mean, downtown's really good at hosting events, and actually looked at the University of Tampa a little bit in high school and kind of go there. But I wouldn't mind moving to Tampa if something opened up there, and possibly. But I'm not a big fan of the Bolts, but I could respect them and the big hockey community they've kind of forged and created in the last couple of years.
What do you think of Tampa Bay? Tom Brady.
I think it's a lot of people up in New England aren't very happy. They are kind of complaining a lot more than my liking. I mean,
they've had 20 years of greatness. They deserve this.
So a lot of them think that Bill is kind of losing it. I don't know about that. I think Bill always gets rid of players and a year before he really should, which is a good strategy to have, and I think it's worked out for him. And I think that it's exciting, and having Gronk there, and they got a pretty scary offense, so it should be interesting. And then especially having Jameis in the division still, I don't know how much playing time he's going to get, but
they'll put him in for a couple snaps against the Bucks.
Yeah, no, I bet.
Just so he can throw a pick against him.
Hopefully that laser eye surgery will help.
Maybe.
Again, like 2 plays in the game, all rushing plays in the end zone for fumbles.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's had a rough go, but yeah, I think it should be exciting, and I think Florida kind of deserves a good NFL team. I think they're gonna be able to pull it together, and I think the Jags could be sneaky this year. They had a good draft. Hopefully Minshew can be their guy. I think that he would really kind of represent the city well, and people kind of gravitate to him. So hopefully they can pull that together, and then you also have a Stetson connection there with Donald Payne. Hopefully he can keep wrapping up those tackles. He played really well in the last 5 weeks. So hopefully seeing some more Hatters in the NFL going forward.
It's crazy like how connections form easy, because I first met Kenny in Daytona when I was shadowing his Justin Rock, the main media guy there. I talked to Kenny for like maybe 5 times that day. Just followed him on Twitter, connected, and we're talking like, a year span. It's crazy how connections can work that way. Yeah,
no, I mean, connections are really everything. Everybody kind of tells you, I mean, all the professors and all that, they would always say, I mean, you always hear it, it's not about what you know, it's who you know, and kind of write that off. But I think that it's really proven itself true, especially in the year that I've been out of school. And it's just little connections too. That's how I got the Stetson, just small connections. Nolan Alexander, who was at Bethune-Cookman, ended up leaving for Kennesaw State. And before he was set up at Kennesaw State, he was going to go to Stetson and basically do what I was doing. And so he kind of referred me to Stetson, and I talked to Nolan one time, just like you were saying, Drew, because he stopped by before a Tortugas game. And just little connections like that doesn't even have to be one that you've been connected with a person for years and years or a couple months. I mean, as long as you make a good impression on somebody who could possibly be asked if they know anybody in the area that can broadcast or fill a position, I mean, you're golden. So just kind of not taking anything for granted at all, and always kind of being ready to connect with people. And hasn't been really difficult for me. I mean, I think most people just like meeting new people and connecting with people who are in an industry like Drew and I did. So that's kind of my word of wisdom to people who getting right out of school, even though kind of really in the same position now. I mean, a lot of people are getting laid off, really good people around the area and throughout the world in the sports industry. So a lot of people will be looking for jobs, and there's going to be a lot of things opening up. And I think those connections are really good to have.
We're going to head to a break here. Back here shortly, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you again to Kenny Schierlinger from Stetson Hatters, the voice of the Hatters, for his fun conversations of connections, his story, how to like a sandwich, which it clearly is. Now we're back to our UNF segments. We're starting off with the heated Zach Yearwood on his draft class of the Jaguars.
So as a whole, the Jags get a B+. It was a great draft. They filled out a bunch of their needs on defense. Some of my favorite picks include K'Lavon Chaisson from LSU, who we talked about 2 weeks ago with Mia O'Brien. They did end up drafting him when he after we saw him wearing that Jags gear. Great edge rusher. He can get to the quarterback and will probably be a good replacement for Yannick Ngakoue after a few years. My next two favorites are Ben Barch. In case you don't know who that is, he's an offensive lineman. I forget what school he went to. But anyway, if you watch the Combine, you would know him because you saw him making what looks like the most disgusting smoothie ever, which includes Gatorade, eggs, protein powder, all kinds of stuff like that. And my last highlight of this draft is Shaquille Quarterman, hometown Jacksonville kid, grew up watching the Jags, always wanted to play for them, went to the University of Miami, and he was an absolute monster at linebacker for the team. And he's going to come in and probably be on the bench for a year, but he's going to get some good reps this season, and he'll make an impact in the future.
So I tweeted this to Mia a couple days ago. The day that Ben Barch was drafted, his Wikipedia page was hilarious. Now, it's changed right now. They changed it, but like back in the day, it was that – pull up right now – that he is a tackle from St. John's of – here he is. All right. Has a tackle. He plays for St. Johnny's. The man has swag off the wazoo.
Swag off the wazoo?
I like that.
It's changed, but like the day it was drafted, this was his official Wikipedia page.
So maybe Ben Barch comes in and gives Cam Robinson a good challenge for that starting spot because Lord knows he needs it. Cam Robinson, he's been solid, but he needs to take that next step if he wants to be a starter for an NFL team.
I think the only other team that could have drafted the Smoothie King himself would have been the Buffalo Bills. But I think the Jaguars, it's a good pick, for him. Not a good pick for him because they picked him, but I think suited that the Smoothie King goes to Duval.
We've got some good personalities on the team.
Yes, and the very last pick you guys had was a tight end from a phenomenal school, Mr. Tyler Davis from Georgia Tech, was a Jaguar now.
Yes, sir.
Love to see it.
And then undrafted free agent, there's one that I actually knew before he got signed to the Jags. His name is Tavian Feaster. He's going to be a backup running back. Went to South Carolina. He's actually pretty good. He's gonna have some good reps. Look for him in the preseason because I doubt with Leonard Fournette there that he'll get meaningful reps in the regular season. But look for him in the preseason to make a splash.
Mr. John Watson has some stories this week, don't you, John?
Yeah, I'm currently in the writing process of a story about golf and COVID-19. It's a story. It's not much of a story, but it's an article on how golf courses and the golf team is going to be affected right now by COVID-19. So I'm talking to the men's golf coach and also a men's golf player who is yet to be named because I didn't want to give out too much of this article, but
keeping it back from us.
It will. This article, the walk-ons will be up on Tuesday, so I can do whatever I want right here. But I already interviewed the coach, and I'm interviewing the player tomorrow. So yeah, I'm just asking them questions like, are they practicing? How are they combating? What they're doing in their free time. And with golf courses being open right now, it's really weird because, most sports you can't really play right now, except for maybe basketball being, in your front yard. But golf courses being open, it's really, really interesting. For me, at least.
I have a question. Out of the three of us, who would win a mini golf tournament, do you guys think?
Who would win?
Yeah, in a mini golf tournament.
Ooh. My putting's on point, so.
Your putting's on point?
Yeah.
But on the turf, how is your lag putting on the turf?
He said mini golf though.
Yes,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it's pretty good. I haven't been to a mini. I can't say that I've been to a mini golf place, but I'd assume how different could it be from grass, right?
Yeah. I mean, being a golfer, my short game is pretty trash. But off the tee, I could smoke at 300. But yeah, I can't putt for crap. Crap. Yeah, it's a good word.
Better than the alternative, I'm sure, was in your head.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I want to say swoop, man.
What about Drew McDonald? Is he a good putter? Let's find out real quick.
I'm a good putter. I use the Happy Gilmore approach. I kind of like tap it in, into the hole, just tap it in. I'm a moderate putter. I'm not like a glorified guy. I'm kind of like under the radar. I'm like the Josh Allen of putters, like not looked out very well, but.
So you overshoot the hole every time.
Listen, I like to lateral my balls out of nowhere, on the grass.
I think we need a walk-ons putting competition.
Yes.
I think that's the next goal after COVID-19.
Mm.
We all get together in, Daytona Beach or something like that, go to an 18-hole mini golf course, and just duel it out for the trophy of best mini golfer of the squad.
John,
men's golf players have caddies.
John, you said that you could hit a drive 300 yards. You think you could beat us at Topgolf?
Oh, for 100%. I'm the best. Like, Drew's seen me at Topgolf. I'll crush him at Topgolf. So don't even worry about that.
Have you guys seen the video? This is crazy. So this one guy hits a ball. He just sends it, and the employees at Topgolf have to come to him and say to keep the ball inside the net because he overshot the net when he hit it.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
I think the net's only like 225 out there.
I mean, it was like 400.
I think it's 225 because you hit it and you're like, I didn't really hit it that hard, but it went all the way to the back of the net. Because some of those guys can hit it like 315, 330, the guys who play baseball, and a lot of those guys can hit it over the net. But
so going back to your story real quick, are golf courses having any special rules that they're enforcing?
Yeah, they're the ones that I've been to right now. They're doing pull carts only. A few of them are doing push carts, but only like in the mornings, or not push carts, but like actual carts. And they're doing maybe raised cups or like no cups at all. So, you hit it into the cup and then you just pull it out by yourself. I don't know. You don't touch the flagstick. Or even the raised cups, you just hit it against the raised cup. And I guess that's a hole.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah. And then
so you're telling me that you've been walking 18 holes whenever you've played? That sounds terrible.
It's the worst thing in the world, but my dad has a push cart and, we just go out and we flip-flop, maybe 9 holes I'll use the push cart and the other 9 holes I'll carry my bag. which it sucks, but it's free. It's free, so can't be too mad. Because I go to the military courses. They're letting us use the course for free if we, run.
You have to run between holes.
Sprint
after you make one. You have to sprint to the next hole.
Yeah. After like the 17th hole, you're gassed. You sprint to the 18th tee box about 500 meters away, and man, you hit that ball off the 18th tee. It's going maybe 330, 340. Kid. Jeez. No, my drives can probably go like 240, 250. I'd say. I wish I could go free.
My last episode as a UNF student on this Walk-Ons show. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, next week there's going to be a special guest. Yeah, and the week after that, special guest. And then the week after that, special guest.
Yep.
Drew McDonald.
I'm working on something special right now. John knows about it. I'm gonna surprise you with it, Drew, if I can get this guest.
It's not a surprise now.
I mean, you still don't know who it is, so it kind of is.
Is it Batman?
Dang.
How do you figure out what
he's on to us, John?
What the heck? But it should be fun.
Is it Michael Bolton?
I'm not going to tell you now.
All right, fine. I deal with that. Thanks, Walk-Ons members. I now don't know what my present is because you guys watch this video.
It's going to be JJ Watt.
Oh, I knew it.
Did you see the tweet? He was like, yeah, I'm joining Zoom calls. You drop your links. And I was like.
Imagine. If he actually joined us.
JJ Watt, yeah. Let's all send him like DMs and then see like, hey. Like, join our Zoom call 7 o'clock next Thursday.
Like, my name is Drew. I like football. Please join.
We'll ask you about I don't know, your top 3 quarantine snacks.
It's like, TJ, hop in this, man.
Yo, TJ, hop in this. Derek, hop in this. Come on. That was a good episode, guys. Yeah. Always fun.
Because that guy's John Watson, that guy's Zach Yearwood, and this guy's Trent Donald. So I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, see you next week.
See you.
Or something like that.